What's up guys, and thank you for stopping by my channel. Today's project is this Cub Cadet trimmer, and the problem is it won't start. We're going to have to inspect the carburetor and see if it needs a rebuild. In a previous video we already tried to adjust the carburetor and it seemed to work, but after adjusting the carburetor the engine had a tendency to flood and not run. In this situation there's probably something wrong with the carburetor. We'll have to take it off and disassemble it and inspect it. Use a Torx screwdriver to remove the two bolts holding the carburetor to the engine. Then disconnect the throttle linkage and then both fuel lines. These fuel lines were a little bit stubborn coming off the carburetor as they seemed to be stuck to it. Next, remove the plate covering the metering diaphragm and we'll see if there's anything wrong with it. Well, the metering diaphragm seems perfectly fine and flexible. We're going to have to move on and see what our next problem is. Let's go ahead and examine the pumping diaphragm and see if there's anything wrong there. Remove the two bolts and then remove the primer bulb and the plate underneath it. And here is our first problem. The screen inside the carburetor is halfway filled with debris. This is quite impossible as the fuel filter is still connected to the fuel line inside the fuel tank. The pumping diaphragm itself is in perfect condition, so it doesn't need to be changed. Now that the carburetor is completely open, the metering diaphragm on the other side isn't taut anymore and seems to have some problems now. This of course is our second problem. The metering diaphragm cannot be crooked, and so this will need to be replaced. Before we reassemble the carburetor, we'll have to remove the debris on the screen. Use some carburetor cleaner after doing so. And once you finish cleaning the screen, go ahead and reassemble the pump side of the carburetor. Next, replace the metering diaphragm with a new one and then put the carburetor back together again. Now reinstall the carburetor back on the engine, reconnecting the throttle linkage and the fuel lines, and then let's try starting it. In the end, the carburetor did need some adjusting, and unfortunately I did not make this video a carburetor adjustment video. Otherwise I would have had the camera in such a way that you would have been able to tell which way I was turning the screws. If you're uncomfortable rebuilding a carburetor, then I would suggest go ahead and ordering one online. The reason why this trimmer did not run was a combination of two problems, one with debris inside the carburetor and a crooked diaphragm. Thanks for watching this video, and if you have any comments or questions about your small engines, please leave them in the comments below. And please consider subscribing as it really supports this channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video.